today I'm reviewing the Marc Jacobs Youthquake Gel Retexturizing Cream. And really quick, I just want to say, purchase all these products with my own money. So if you want to help keep the channel independent, check out my products at nobsbeauty.com or click on the Amazon link below. So, Marc Jacobs introduced some new products, some new fun products, new highlighter, a new blurring primer, as well as the Youthquake Gel Retexturizing Cream. And I was super excited for it to come out, and then once I kind of looked over the ingredient list, the packaging, I was kind of like, I don't have to have it. But I was at Sephora recently, and I saw that they had a little half-size version, so I thought, well, I'll pick it up and give it a chance, right? Nothing wrong with that. So anyway, now that I've had a chance to try it, I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts on it based on my Sarah Score scale. And really quick, have you ever guys had like a bad makeup day? Instead of like a bad hair day, like a bad makeup day, like, I don't know, nothing applied smoothly, everything looked peely and cracky, and I had to start over again. I don't know if it was the sunscreen I was experimenting with or what, but anyway, so be patient with me. It was a bad makeup day. So anyway, so on to the Youthquake. So my first criteria is packaging. And this does have some antioxidants in here, so it's unfortunate that they chose to package it in a jar because that exposes them to light and air every time you open it up. So for that reason, I always try and save the little thingies that they put on it, like maybe it helps a little bit. I don't know. So that's why anytime I do a review, you see I always keep those little things on them. So I don't know. It might help a little bit, it might not, but for this size, it's not worth repackaging it into an airless jar because it's just a tiny little guy, and I'll probably go through the rest of it pretty fast. But anyway, so it's kind of a bummer, and especially when you can see they spent a lot of money. Well, not a lot of money, but they spent a lot of time designing the package for this. So it would have been nice to see an airless jar or maybe a pump bottle or something else. I don't know. Because they did a nice job. It fits in with the brand's theme packaging and things like that. So anyway, I gotta assume this fancy package would cost as much as an airless jar. But anyway, I'm off and over that. So my second criteria is alcohol. And this contains only good fatty types of alcohol. So that's good for your skin. So there's no issues with that. My third criteria is fragrance. And this does have kind of a fruity scent to it, which does dissipate pretty darn quickly. So it won't be an issue for most people except for those with the most sensitive skin or those with skin issues or a damaged skin barrier. But still, it would have been better probably without the fragrance, but thankfully it does dissipate pretty quickly. So not a huge issue except for those with sensitive skin. My fourth criteria is the manufacturing location, and I found this a little interesting, is that this was made in Korea, and I remember a lot of other Marc Jacobs products were made, I think, in like the US or the UK, so that was kind of interesting. So I kind of wonder if the team had worked with one of the Korean beauty brands to kind of make this, or just had a package there. I thought that was kind of interesting, so I don't know. That's no issues with that. My fifth criteria is ease of use, and pretty easy to use. Smooths over skin pretty easily. They recommend using this morning and evening, but it can be pretty greasy, and I'm someone with drier skin. So for that reason, I only apply this in the evening, just because I found applying it in the morning kind of made my skin feel a little greasy, and it kind of affected some of the foundation use and lasting ability. So that's why I prefer to use this only in the evening, but you can definitely use this morning or evening, or if you have super dry skin, you'll probably like it more in the morning. I will say I didn't notice a lot of exfoliation from this. Retexturizing cream makes me think of exfoliating, and I didn't really notice a ton of that. So actually I should have brought my tester strips. Let me go grab those. So hang on one sec. So I got my my pH strips. So I'm going to test these and see if they're at the level for exfoliation to occur. And typically you want to apply these on the strips how they're going to be applied on your skin. So I want to say you're going to be applying it directly to skin. So if you're doing like a cleanser, you want to mix it with water before you put it on the test strips. So I'll give that a minute to see what results we get with it. So anyway, but other than that, pretty easy to use. And again, not a ton of greasiness, but sometimes on the hotter, humid days in Minnesota, I could see this ending up looking very, very greasy by the midday. So that's why I prefer to use this in my nighttime routine. So let's see. I'll give it another minute or so. And so on to my 6th criteria, which is antioxidants. And so it's got pineapple. If you remember, pineapple's kind of becoming big. Glow Recipe came out with their pineapple brightening serum, which is also meant to be hydrating as well as giving you some vitamin C and some exfoliation, smoothing. So pineapple's kind of showing up. There's been a few more things that pineapple have been in recently, but so pineapple's in there as the first ingredient. And then there's a whole lot of kind of filler ingredients, like preservatives, kind of just preservative ingredients, pH, balancing ingredients, things like that, glycerin, things like that in there. So it's got a lot of fillers, and then you eventually, toward the end of the list, start to see more good stuff such as lecithin, vitamin E, sodium hyaluronate, dragon fruit, things like that. Most of the good stuff of this, other than the pineapple, which is the main ingredient, obviously, are towards the very end of the ingredient list. So in terms of real good other beneficial ingredients, a lot of them are going to be in lower amounts. So nothing too exciting other than the pineapple, and then a lot of kind of filler things, and then more of the good stuff towards the end. So I wasn't super impressed. And then also the jar packaging won't do much for good antioxidants anyway to kind of help them stay stable. So let's see. So for the pH test, I'm getting that this is around 5.5, closer to 6, really. So that's why I didn't notice much exfoliation, because the pH is going to be too high to really allow for any good exfoliation. It needs to be much lower than 6-ish. I'd say it's maybe 5.7, right around there. So I don't know. That's why there isn't much exfoliation going on, because it's too high. So it makes sense. So anyway, I'm glad I remembered to do that. Okay, so my 7th criteria is animal testing, and the Marc Jacobs brand is cruelty-free, which is always good to see. Performance, if you're looking for hydration more than retexturizing, this is good for that. Can be very hydrating, even sometimes a little greasy. For me, I found it just works better in my evening routine because of that, especially with it being summer now in Minnesota. The days I put this on in the morning and then went out, my face was quite oily by the middle of the day, and I typically don't have that problem, seeing as though I've got very, very dry skin. So perhaps in the wintertime, this could be a good morning moisturizer. But again, for the price, the poor packaging, I don't know. But it does do hydration, just not a lot of exfoliation. And then my 9th criteria is price, and the full size is 1.7 ounces, and it sells for $59, which is almost as much as the Proteini, which definitely gives you more bang for the buck, better packaging, things like that. I think this little size that I found, I never saw this little size online, but it's half an ounce, and I believe I got it for about $21. So if you're just wanting to give it a try, you might like it more. I know influencers sent hundreds of these out, so the reviews are on Sephora, it's like all 5 stars. So, but anyway, the little size is nice if you just want to try it and not be fully committal to it. And then my 10th criteria, which is the it factor. Obviously, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. It's definitely a decent moisturizer. It doesn't fully deliver in terms of the exfoliation retexturizing cream, but it is going to be very hydrating. Poor packaging. The little bit of fragrance isn't too much of an issue. I can be very sensitive to fragrance, and this one didn't bother me. So it does dissipate rather quickly, but it does have some good beneficial hydrating ingredients in there. And for the most part, you shouldn't have any issues, although I did see a lot of people that have issues using this and then issues with breakouts. And there are a few acneogenic ingredients, not a whole ton of them, but, you know, it just depends on your skin type. So overall, it was kind of hit or miss. If the price had been a little bit better, I could probably forgive some more of their mistakes easier, but when they're charging $60 for a bottle of it, it's a little bit a lot of money to ask for something that moderately delivers on some of its claims. So overall, I gave this a 5 out of 10. Certainly had the price been a little bit more reasonable and the packaging been a little bit better, it would have done much better in my opinion. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you guys definitely have thoughts and opinions on it. So definitely let me know what your experience using it was if you've had a chance to try it. Or if not, leave a comment. What do you guys use to exfoliate? So anyway, definitely leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Check out nobsbeauty.com, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys so much.